April the 28th, and you thought you got away with it. Autism Awareness Month. So there's part of me that can't even be bothered because I'm aware, you're aware. We've been talking for years about how autism's impacted on our lives and my friends who have children on the spectrum. A lot of those children are now young adults, and it's a huge game changer. But I was just thinking, how it's really impacted on us, not just on Kieran, because obviously Kieran is autistic and his life, his expectations and things are very different to, Daniel's, for instance. Kieran is 19 and he'll finish school in July, and he can go to the college that's run by the school, which is absolutely brilliant, and he can stay there till he's 25, and they focus on independent skills, to enable him to be his best possible person and to achieve everything he can possibly achieve with all the limitations that the autism, the learning difficulties, the challenging behaviour, the sensory intolerance bring with them. So that's his plan till he's 25, and after that it will be finding some sort of supported living, some sort of parent group home for him, because obviously we won't last forever, and Kieran in his own right and is his own person needs his own independence and needs to live his own life to his full potential. And even with the autism, we have to recognise that he needs to be his own self, and as his parents we have to enable that. That's parents' jobs. Daniel, of course, he too is finishing school in July and hopefully be going off to university. And then what? I don't know. It's going to be a very strange dynamic in this house in September, because Kieran loves Daniel so much. Well, we all do. So it'd be strange for Kieran to be without Daniel. He's been with Daniel all, most of his life. But, that's great. It's great that they have this amazing bond. It really is. And Daniel is an incredible person. And if you have the privilege to know him, beyond the fact that he's a teenage boy and he does what teenage boys do, he's just actually a very nice, measured person. And he's incredible with Kieran. So we're very lucky there. But of course, autism's impacted on Kieran so severely in everything he does. His communication is so very much impaired, and although he understands he can't communicate, causes frustrations, causes behaviours. They call them unwanted behaviours. They're very much unwanted, believe you me. And that impacts on his ability to access the community, and, everything we do, we have to plan around situations that might cause Kieran's behaviour. So where can we realistically take him, and take him that he'll enjoy, that we'll enjoy. Everything we do with him is a very well thought out plan, I can assure you. But everything that we've done with Daniel again is the autism. It's just, when you think about it, I grew up in a really mad, crazy house. I think you might get that. If anybody knows me, really knows me, they know I'm mad as a bucket of spiders. And that really comes from a very fun, loving, happy home as a child and as a teenager. And our door was always open. I mean, everybody was welcome in our house, and it was mad crazy in there, and which suited me down to the ground. And I try to have like a mad crazy house here because that's what I do, and I often have people in, and I love nothing more than having a house full of people. And it's great, and I loved that about being a child, being able to bring everybody into our house. Even now, I take people home to mum and dad's for the weekend. I'm 55 and a half. I'm like, Mum, I'm going to bring my friend home. She's like, yeah, of course you can. And that's great. But Daniel can't do that. And that sort of upsets me because, well, maybe he wouldn't be the type of person that would do that anyway. I don't know. But he can't do that. He hasn't had friends in the house since he was 11, since he went to senior school. I mean, there's been the odd friend that he's stayed friends with over the years throughout his senior school life. But there's no new friends. There's nobody coming over to study. There's nobody coming over for dinner. There's nobody coming over to play these PlayStation games. Because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing having a brother who may be naked, who may be aggressive, who may be jumping around and dancing around to the wolf tones or whoever, and when you're a teenager, and it's hard enough anyway growing up, it's hard enough being a teenager without having a beardy weirdy brother in the house doing God knows what. And that upsets me, because my childhood was full of people and his childhood isn't, because of autism. So we think about what's happened to Kieran because of autism, but what about Daniel? What happened to him? I just find that part of the autism, that tremendous gift, because God only gives special children to special people. It's really, really hard to swallow. And now Daniel's 18, and you know what? It's all too late. It's all gone. That part of his growing up, that part of being able to have friends in and develop those social skills, that side of your character just wasn't an option. And I think that's really, really just, what can you do? What can you do? We did our best. We have always done our best, and the house is full, but it's my friends, not his. So that's an aspect of autism that, I think if you've got a friend who does have a young person, or even a young adult now with autism, maybe the siblings, there were lots of opportunities throughout Daniel's life that he was invited to different places, and I couldn't take him because of Kieran. And a few times people offered to take him, which was great, but there were times when I just thought to myself, our situation, please take Daniel. And I could never bring myself to ask them, because I felt like I was constantly asking people for help and asking people for favours, and I'm not like that. I'll do anything for anybody, honestly. You ask me and I will do anything for you. I really will, and I'll do it with a good heart. But I don't naturally ask people for help. So for me to find myself in a situation where I'm forced now to ask people for help, and I often do, a loaf of bread, just like crazy, that I can't do stuff like that when Kieran's at home. I can't go and get a loaf of bread. If we run out of milk, then, I just can't. And I will ask people for help. But I suppose I've been doing it a little bit longer now. But when Daniel was in primary school, and I was crying all the time, and don't think I'm not crying all the time now because I cry a lot, I just couldn't bring myself to say, can you please take Daniel? And he missed out on so much. So if you do know somebody who've got younger children and you're going somewhere with your children, please just say to them, would you like me to take your child with me? And it's not fair in a way, because that child needs their parent too, and they're there with their friends, and their friends' parents are there. But that's not necessarily just all down to autism, because parents work, single parents with younger siblings, so they couldn't go anyway. There's lots of reasons. So it's not just that your child would be the only one there at the point. Oh, look at him, he's the one with the autistic sibling or brother. But it's better that they're there than that they miss out on those opportunities. And like I say, Daniel's 18 now. That part of his life is finished, and where he is where he is. But I do feel that he missed out on a lot of stuff because of the autism. And again, I tried so hard. I balanced everything. Kieran would go to play schemes, and I would take Daniel and a friend to the cinema, to shows, out for meals. I did everything I could. I never took him on his own, because, who wants to be with an old lady? Except maybe an old man. Anyway, that's another story. I tried. I really did try, and I didn't get it right every time, obviously, but I like to think that on the day I did my best. So, I don't have regrets in that way, but I kind of wish I'd been a little bit more upfront about asking for more help. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help. People don't think. But honestly, because unless you live in a home where, Kieran is so severe. Children and young people who maybe don't have the same challenges as Kieran, the same obstacles aren't in their way. But if you do know anybody, you might not think they need help. You might think that, they don't come out because they don't want to, or maybe they're a bit standoffish, or whatever the reason. But it could be that literally they can't. They're trapped in their circumstances. And, maybe pick up the phone. These days you don't even have to speak to them. Send a text, send an email. So this is going on. Would you like to be involved? Would you like us to take your child? I mean, we're in a situation now. Kieran's 19 and a half, and he's like a giant toddler in some respects. But the thing with the toddler is you can get a babysitter. We've got no one to look after Kieran. I mean, you wouldn't come and look after him, would you? Actually, no, I'm joking because I wouldn't expect you to, because when he goes, and it's frightening if you're not used to it. I mean, it's frightening if you are used to it, but if you're tooled up for it and you know what to do. And also, if his relationship with you is so strong that he feels safe, it's not going to be as bad. But we get our respite, which I'm so grateful for. But if Kieran's not in respite and you invite us somewhere, chances are we can't come. And it's not because we don't want to, because we do want to, and we love to, but, we're very realistic. And it's not even that, people ask Kieran to go as well, they do. But if he can't tolerate the situation, then it's not going to be pleasant for anybody. And why would we put him in a situation we know he's going to struggle with anyway? We love him so much. Why would we do that to him? We wouldn't. So, I'm not complaining about anything. I hate autism. I don't even know why it happened. And I look back and I think about the day he was diagnosed, and I think, if you, as a baby, he met all his milestones and he was doing great. He wasn't talking. There were a few things, and there was no waving and pointing and things. I mean, I didn't know they were indicators, but he was such a happy, lovely little baby. And it was such a shock to me when she told me that. Honestly, it was such a shock. And we're coming up to his 17th anniversary of being told. I lose track. And it's as raw today as it was then, honestly. I was just like, what the hell did that happen? But anyway, it happened. So you get on with it. Nobody can be a victim to life. You've just got to make the best of absolutely everything. But, we do what we do, and we do our best, and we do what we can. And, I like to think that we did everything we could for both the boys, and as much as we could. They're both, we're so proud of both of them. They're both great people. They're both, when I look at them, you see the pair of them, honestly, and they are such a unit. They are such a yin and yang, and I am super proud of the pair of them. But as far as autism awareness is, I don't know. You see the programs on television and these children that are quirky, and honestly, anybody that's on the autistic spectrum, life is going to be difficult, life is going to be a struggle, life is going to be hard, and it's going to be different. It's not going to be your expectation. But I don't think they portray our flavour of autism on the television. And why would you put it on television? Who wants to watch it? I don't want to watch it. But it kind of, I don't know, it sort of waters down what autism can be for families. And when you say that, he's got autism, and if you don't know him, people sort of think, oh, well, that's okay. I've seen it on television, so it's not that bad. It is. It's that bad. It's that bad, and probably a little bit worse. Things like, I can't go to the toilet when I'm here in the house on my own without having to keep Kieran in the bedroom next to me, or keep him sometimes in the bathroom with me, because he's not safe on his own. And if he's up in the night, I'm up in the night because he's not safe on his own. And if somebody knocks on the door when I'm at home alone with Kieran, even trying to answer the door is a big risk, because I can't answer the door too widely because I don't want him getting out, and I don't want the dogs getting out, and I don't want him kicking off. And I don't know if he's having a meal and suddenly he throws his food across the floor because something's upset him. Maybe the dog down the road's barked. There's a boy down the road plays his drums all the time. It's a bloody nightmare. But the boy's only playing his drums. He's not doing anything wrong or terrible. It affects us. And so the food goes flying, and then the dogs go flying, and Kieran goes flying. And do I go after Kieran? Do I go after the dogs? And then somebody might ring on the doorbell, and I'm just like, what do I do first? It's one of me. So, it's constantly trying to juggle how you manage the situation at home all the time, and walking on eggshells, because Kieran can be so happy. I mean, you see his photographs and he's so happy until he isn't. And it can be anything, and it's instant. Honestly, it's instant. And then everything goes horribly wrong. And it's managing that situation and making sure he's safe and I'm safe. And and breathing. And, Daniel was talking to Daniel the other day. He was going off to university, and Kieran had just had this like massive, massive meltdown. And he will attack me, but I've got this. I know what I'm doing. I'm okay. I haven't got the bruises on my arms and things that I used to have. That. But Daniel's like, what happens if he does this when I've gone away? I don't want him worrying about that. He's got to be worried about settling into university, making new friends, being independent, looking after himself, being a man, being himself, that. Carving out his own destiny. Not worried that I'm at home and not safe with his brother, whom he adores. Then I said to him, don't worry about it. I've got this. If we got to a stage where Kieran was so aggressive that I wasn't safe or that Kieran wasn't safe, we'd move our plan of Kieran's supported living to now. Nobody's a martyr in this house. We're very realistic. We're very practical. We'll keep Kieran at home with us as long as we possibly can. For his sake, we love him so much. We love him so much, we'll let him go. But all of these thoughts, they're constant, and everything that happens, it's constant. So autism awareness, it's not just a child having a meltdown in an ice cream shop and other people calling it a horror show, or wondering why McDonald's have asked you to move your car and go and park because they couldn't get the chicken burger and chips ready in time, because if you move your car, he now thinks he's not getting his burger and he's going to kick off, and you're having to say to them, look, I can't move the car because my child's autistic and he won't understand. And then looking at you as if to say, well, I've only asked you to move the car, don't be so inconsiderate. There's people behind you who need their chips. All these things. And years ago, constantly saying, oh, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry he's autistic. I'm heartbroken he's autistic. But I'm not apologising to anybody anymore. He's who he is, and part of him is his autism, and whatever that brings, I'm not apologising for that anymore. It's just as it is. And I would think people can understand that now. So that's it, I think. I've probably taken up enough of your time. Autism awareness. Like I said, if you're not aware, I've been trying really hard to try and help people understand. I don't like this educate people. That's like quite a harsh thing to say, educate people. I'm not here to educate anybody. I can barely educate myself. But I would like people to be more understanding and sort of let them know what it can be like for a family who have a child or young person with autism. And just so that, just be kind. If you're in an ice cream shop and a child who clearly is older than sort of tantrum age is not coping, don't call it a horror show. I mean, for goodness sake. Anybody that's had a toddler has been in that situation. We've all been there. We've all been told, for God's sake, while you're doing your really best to manage the situation. And, if you're in the line of business and somebody phones up and says, we've got somebody in our family with autism and we can't wait, or can you give us a booth, or we'd like to try horse riding, could you, maybe a quiet time. Just if you've got that ability to be more accommodating, that would be great. If you're in line and you're waiting and you can see that a family who clearly have got struggles are behind you, maybe let them go first. Simple little things. So if you see that their child's having a meltdown in the community and the parents are trying really hard, don't stare. I mean, it's easy to stare. I stare like, oh, and judge. Oh, just move on. Go about your own business. That's a kindness. I mean, I don't go up to people and go, oh, is he autistic? I know I've got one at home, let me help you. I don't interfere with people. I just go about my business because I can see they're doing their best. If I saw something was extreme and I thought I could help, I would help. But personally, when people have come up to me, a stranger, a new voice, new perfume or aftershave, hasn't always helped the situation, because like Kieran had been trying to process this simple language I'd been using, and now suddenly we've got more words, and that has like completely thrown him off kilt. So it's not that I'm uncaring by not offering to help people. I've just been at the other side of it where this stranger has just added to the issues. Anyway, happy Autism Awareness Month. Thanks for watching. Love you.